Have you ever wondered why you make the choices you do? It's a question that might seem simple at first, but quickly unravels into a web of complexity as we delve deeper. You see, decision-making is not just a matter of picking between options A and B. It's a complex process, a dance of neurons and synapses in the intricate theater of our brains. Every single day, we're faced with a myriad of decisions, from the mundane like what to have for breakfast to the critical like deciding on a career path. Behind every choice, there's a fascinating interplay of brain processes that takes place, often without us even realizing it. It's like an unseen puppeteer pulling the strings, directing the course of our lives. Now, let's step into the realm of this puppeteer, the brain. A masterful composer, weaving together various elements to create the symphony of our decisions. Emotions, cognitive biases, environmental factors all play their unique parts in this intricate composition. Emotions, for example, are not just fleeting feelings, they are powerful forces that can sway our thoughts and decisions. Cognitive biases, on the other hand, are like silent whispers, nudging us towards or away from certain choices, often without our conscious awareness. And let's not forget the environmental factors. The context in which we find ourselves can greatly shape our decisions, like a potter molding clay. Understanding these factors and how they influence our decision-making is like gaining access to the control room of our minds. It's a journey of discovery, of understanding the unseen forces that shape our lives, and it's a journey we're about to embark on together. So it's clear that our decision-making process is more than just a simple yes or no. It's a complex ballet of brain processes, emotions, biases, and environmental influences, all converging to shape the choices we make. Choices that, in turn, shape our lives. The human brain, a marvel of nature, is the epicenter of our decision-making process. This intricate organ, composed of around 100 billion neurons, is the maestro that orchestrates our every thought, feeling, and action. Among its many roles, one of the most fascinating is how it processes information and makes decisions. Imagine a bustling city with information zooming around like cars on a highway. That's akin to how our brain operates. It constantly processes vast amounts of data, filtering, analyzing, and interpreting it to help us make decisions. This is a complex and dynamic process, with several parts of the brain playing crucial roles. One such area is the prefrontal cortex, the CEO of the brain. Located right behind our forehead, the prefrontal cortex is responsible for high-level thinking and decision-making. It helps us weigh possible outcomes, consider the pros and cons, and ultimately decide on a course of action. It's like our personal problem solver, helping us make rational and informed decisions. But let's not forget the amygdala, the brain's emotional powerhouse. Nestled deep within the brain, the amygdala adds a layer of emotional intensity to our decision-making. It's why we might choose comfort food over a healthy salad when we're feeling down, or why we might make impulsive decisions when we're excited. The amygdala reminds us that our decisions are not just logical, but also emotional. Finally, the hippocampus, our memory bank, also plays a crucial role. It provides us with a wealth of past experiences to draw upon, allowing us to make informed decisions based on what we've learned in the past. It's like a wise old friend, offering advice based on our history. As you can see, the brain's decision-making process is anything but straightforward. It's a complex dance between different parts of the brain, each contributing its unique perspective. By understanding how these parts work together, we can begin to appreciate the complexity of our decision-making process and the factors that influence it. This understanding, in turn, can help us make better decisions. By recognizing how our brain processes information, we can strive to make more thoughtful and rational choices that align with our long-term goals. Understanding our brain's decision-making process can help us make better decisions. Ever made a decision in the heat of the moment that you later regretted? We've all been there. Emotions, those powerful and often uncontrollable feelings, can cloud our judgment, leading us down paths we might not have taken in a more rational state of mind. They can make a mountain out of a molehill, or conversely, diminish the importance of significant matters. You see, our emotions are like an artist, coloring our perceptions and judgments, for better or worse. Love can make us see only the good in someone, while anger can blind us to reason. Fear can make a small obstacle seem insurmountable, while excitement can make us leap before we look. But it's not just emotions that sway our decisions. Another invisible puppeteer pulling our cognitive strings is what psychologists call cognitive biases. They're kind of like shortcuts our brain takes when processing information, but these shortcuts often lead us astray. Take confirmation bias, for instance. It's our tendency to favor information that confirms our existing beliefs and to ignore or reject information that challenges them. It's like having blinders on, seeing only what we want to see, and it can lead us to make decisions based on skewed perceptions of reality. And then there's the anchoring bias. This is our tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information we encounter, the anchor, when making decisions. Ever rushed into buying something because the first price you saw seemed like a good deal, only to find it cheaper elsewhere later? That's anchoring bias in action. In essence, our emotions and cognitive biases act like filters, distorting our perception and influencing our decisions. They can lead us to make choices that aren't in our best interest, choices we might regret upon reflection. It's clear that emotions and cognitive biases can greatly influence our decisions. Our environment is not just a backdrop to our lives, it actively shapes our decisions. Now, let's dive into how environmental factors can affect our decision-making process. It's easy to think that we are completely independent in our choices, but the truth is, our surroundings have a profound impact on the decisions we make. Consider societal pressures, for instance. We are social creatures, and the opinions and behaviors of those around us can heavily sway our choices. We might opt for a particular career path, not because we are passionate about it, but because it's considered prestigious or successful in our society. This is a clear example of how societal pressures can steer our decision-making process, sometimes even leading us astray from our true passions and interests. Cultural norms also play a significant role. Different cultures value different things, and these values can seep into our decision-making. For example, in a culture that values collectivism, decisions are often made with the group's interest in mind, rather than individual desires. On the other hand, in cultures that uphold individualism, personal interests and goals are prioritized when making decisions. Even our physical environment can influence our choices. Think about how the layout of a grocery store can manipulate what we buy. Have you ever noticed that essential items like milk and eggs are often placed at the back of the store? This design decision isn't arbitrary. It's a strategic move to make you walk past numerous other tempting products, hoping you'll make additional purchases on your way to grab the essentials. So you see, our environment is not a silent observer. It's an active player, subtly guiding and sometimes even dictating our decisions. It's crucial to be aware of these influences to make more informed, conscious choices that align with our personal goals and values, rather than being swayed by external factors. Our environment plays a pivotal role in our decision-making process. So let's not underestimate its power. Instead, let's harness it to make decisions that truly reflect who we are and what we want. Now that we understand the factors that influence our decisions, how can we make better choices? One of the most effective decision-making strategies is weighing the pros and cons. It's an age-old method that still holds water today. This requires us to objectively evaluate the benefits and drawbacks of each option. By doing this, we can gain a clearer picture of the possible outcomes, thus making the decision-making process less daunting. Another strategy is utilizing decision trees. These are graphical representations that map out possible outcomes of various choices. They can be particularly useful when dealing with complex decisions that involve multiple variables. By visualizing the potential consequences of each path, we can systematically navigate through the decision-making process. But perhaps the most important aspect of decision-making is considering the long-term consequences. Often, we are tempted to choose the path of least resistance, the option that provides immediate gratification. But this type of short-sighted decision-making can lead to regret down the line. Instead, we should strive to make choices that align with our long-term goals, even if they may seem difficult in the short term. Rationality and objectivity are key in all these strategies. Our emotions and biases often cloud our judgment, leading us down paths that may not be in our best interest. But by making a conscious effort to stay rational and objective, we can rise above these influences and make decisions that truly serve our purpose. Remember, decision-making is not about always making the right choice. It's about making the best possible choice given the information and resources at hand. It's about being thoughtful and intentional with our decisions, not just going with the flow. By understanding the factors that influence our decisions and using effective strategies, we can make more thoughtful, rational choices that align with our long-term goals. So next time you're faced with a decision, take a step back, evaluate your options objectively, and make a choice that will lead you closer to your goals.